What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to write the equation of a line given 2 points. So here, the 2 points that were given are -2, -1, and 3, 5. So there's basically 2 steps to this. The first one is just finding your slope, m, and then the second one is going to be plugging in a point and your slope into the point-slope formula, right? So let's start with step 1, just simply finding the slope, m. So remember, the slope m is equal to the change in y, so basically y of 2 minus y of 1 over the change in x, which is x of 2 minus x of 1. So x of 1, y of 1, x of 2, y of 2, these are just the coordinate points of these two guys up here. So let's label these. Let's label this one as x of 1, y of 1, and this one can be x of 2, y of 2. Right? So let's just plug in these points into the slope. So this is going to be equal to, first of all, y of 2 is 5, so we get 5 minus y of 1, which is -1. And on the bottom, we have x of 2, which is 3, minus x of 1, which is -2. All right, so on top we have 5 minus -1, so this is basically the same thing as 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6. And on the bottom, we have 3 minus -2, which is the same thing as 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5. Okay, cool. So the slope between these 2 points is 6/5, 6 over 5, right? So now that we found the slope, now let's jump to the second step using the point-slope formula. So if you don't remember what that one is, it's y minus y of 1 is equal to m times x minus x of 1. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. Well, we know y of 1, right? Y of 1 is -1. We know the slope, right? 6 over 5. And we also know x of 1, which is -2. All right, so let's plug those into the formula. So we have y minus y of 1, which again is -1, is equal to the slope, which is 6 over 5, times x minus x of 1, which is -2. All right, so then over here, y minus -1, that's the same thing as y plus 1, and then that's equal to this guy over here, 6 over 5, times, in parentheses, x minus -2. Again, this is the same thing as x plus 2. Okay, now the next thing we can do is distribute this fraction, the 6/5, into the parentheses. And I'm just going to rewrite the formula up here. So we have y plus 1 is equal to, and then we can distribute this guy, right? So 6/5 times x is equal to 6/5 x, and then 6/5 times 2, well, we can work that out. Let's just write it here. 6/5 times 2. Remember, to multiply by a fraction, you just multiply straight across. So on top we have 6 times 2, which is 12. And on the bottom, there's just a 5, so we just keep the 5, right? So 6/5 times 2 is equal to 12/5. So, and positive, right? Because they're both positive. So plus 12/5. All right. Next thing we can do, because we're trying to just isolate y over here, is get rid of this -1, or sorry, this +1, and we can do that by subtracting 1, right? And what we do to one side, we do to the other, so we can subtract 1 from over here. So then over here, they cancel out, and then we're just left with y is equal to 6/5 x, and then here, 12/5 minus 1, and we can solve that. I'll just do it down here. So 12/5 minus 1. Now, in order to add or subtract fractions, we need to have the same denominator. Okay, so first of all, we can write 1 as a fraction, right? We could write it as 1 over 1, right? 1 over 1 is the same thing as just 1. Now, in order to have the same denominator, we can turn this into 5 over 5, right? Because 1 divided by 1, that's equal to 1, and 5 divided by 5 is also equal to 1. But if we rewrite it like this, you can see we'll have the same denominator here as the 5. Okay, so instead of writing a 1 over here, we can write, and I'll get rid of that, we can write 5 over 5. Okay, and I'll get rid of this over here. So now this is the equivalent thing to 12/5 minus 1, but now we can actually work it out, and you just do it straight across, right? So 12 minus 5, that's equal to 7, and on the bottom we just have 5s, so you just keep that as a 5. So 12/5 minus 1 is equal to positive 7/5. So plus 7/5. All right, so then that's as simplified as we can get it. So this would be your final equation, your final answer right there. So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below.